What if the answer to the anger problem in our culture is to vent it? Let's talk about it. Hey friends, this is Pastor Ron with this week's message of hope. If you haven't noticed lately, or if you're just returning from a long trip to Mars, we have a real problem with anger. Things have been trending this way for quite some time, but it seems that the pandemic, the racial strife over the last summer, and the hot mess that was the political season has blown the lid off all previous restraints. Listen to what one very angry dude wrote about his political foe. When he goes to court, let him be found guilty. May his days be few. May his children be fatherless and his wife a widow. May his children be wandering beggars. May they be driven from their ruined homes. May a creditor seize all he has. May no one extend kindness to him or take pity on his fatherless children. Whew. It's one thing to attack somebody, but to include the guy's wife and kids? The only thing close to that is when I was in the bleachers at Wrigley Field and Cub fans called Cardinals outfielder Matt Holliday and his mother every name in the book. But I digress. The quote I read earlier is actually from the Bible, Psalm 109 to be exact. They're the words of King David. It's one of the so-called imprecatory psalms. Imprecatory basically means curse. It's a psalm of cursing. New students to the Bible are often shocked when they read one of these psalms. Admittedly, they can be a bit disturbing. That is, until you really understand what's going on. The Psalms are prayers. This was a prayer that David prayed to God. He didn't say this to his enemy. And as far as David knew, no one would ever read his words. The moral of the story? Vent anger privately, not publicly. Better yet, say it to God in prayer. Being totally honest with Him in this manner allows God to deal with not just the anger, but the stuff inside that's creating it. President Abraham Lincoln was known for his calm temper and his remarkable ability to forge unity in a highly divided culture. According to biographer Doris Kearns Goodwin, Lincoln would often write hot letters aimed at his opponents. He would then put the letter aside until he cooled down and could address the situation more rationally. Decades later, when historians opened his papers, they found a group of these letters with Lincoln's notation at the bottom of each one: never signed, never sent. Lincoln taught his cabinet members to do the same thing. So when his Secretary of War became furious with one of his generals, Lincoln told him to write it all down and then throw the letter in the trash can. Edwin Stanton objected. He said, "But it took me 2 days to write." Lincoln replied, "Yes, yes, and it did you ever so much good. You feel better now. That is all that is necessary. Just throw it in the basket." In essence, that's what King David did in the psalm. I believe prayer is the most appropriate place to deal with the anger in your heart. And let's all be honest, we all get angry. It's part of what it means to be human. But anger is a dangerous thing, so much so that the Apostle Paul wrote, "Don't let the sun go down on your anger." To hold on to it any longer is to poison your soul and to give the devil a foothold in your life. You may not be into writing actual letters, but you can compose an email. Say everything you want to say. Get it all out there. Then walk away from it, come back, and delete it the next day. It's ancient wisdom. Wisdom our 16th president took to heart. Maybe that's one of the reasons there's a larger-than-life memorial to him in our nation's capital. Earlier in Psalm 109, David said, "They have surrounded me with words of hatred and fought against me without cause. In return for my love, they're my accusers, but I give myself to prayer." May you give yourself to prayer and become a person of peace. And in so doing, may we show the world a better way. Amen.